This is one that I'm pretty excited about because it's something that I feel like I had been doing wrong for pretty much my whole career. And now I'm finally starting to pivot and do this the right way. It's just giving so many more opportunities for branding, for marketing. Most of what we're going to talk about today is actually prefaced from a book. Raise your hand if you've read Build Your Story Brand 2.0 before.
I built one that was Build a Story Brand. I don't know if it was the 2.0 one, but I've read one of them.
If you read the book, you're going to have a pretty good idea of kind of what we're going to talk about today and essentially where most agents go wrong. A lot of what we're talking about today is going to go into kind of the strategies of this book, what we're doing wrong as realtors, and really what we're doing wrong, whether you're doing agent attraction, whether you're doing sales, no matter what your business is. Ultimately, this is going to kind of probably break that down and maybe tell you some things that you need to start fixing. What I'm also going to give you guys today is a custom GPT to help build out a marketing plan for yourself. And so hopefully this will help guide you a little bit. So let's get straight into it. Build your story brand. I'd like some feedback. Maybe, let's see, Nick, tell me what you like to market on your Instagram, on your Facebook. What are you marketing these days when you put a post out?
Pretty much things that I'm doing. Me playing with my dogs, me and my family, alongside obviously all the showings that go on, client success, pending sales, setting up sales, open houses, and all that stuff.
All right, so you brought out a lot of the family stuff, right? The personal stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think people want to be able to get to know you personally, right? As you're doing your socials, I think you should sprinkle in some life there, right? But then you started talking about the actual work-related stuff. Open houses, you talked about pendings, you talked about solds. So I'm going to pose a question to you guys. How many of your friends and followers, if they are let's go realtor first. Out of the realtors that follow you, how many of them do you think care that you pended or sold a house? 0. Yeah, Mia's saying thumbs down. Khalid says 0. Chang says 0. Yeah, I'd agree. No one gives a crap, right? I mean, we sell houses every single day. Sold 140 some houses this year. We're not even 140 weeks in, I don't think, right? So, I mean, we're not even 140 days in, right? So that's like a house almost every single day. So if every single day you're just like, just sold, right? These realtors are like, I don't care. The flip side of that, how many potential clients do you have that follow you that you think care when you sell a house? Khalid says 0. Mia says maybe. I'm gonna go that 0 is the correct answer in this instance. The flip side is what you may be thinking is, well, at least my clientele sees that I'm an active realtor.
I think it depends on the story you build around it.
So now we start getting into the build your actual story brand, because so many times what do? We either throw a picture of a house that no one lives in, right? They're not going to live in it. You already sold the house. So you throw a picture and you're like, just sold. Look at me. I'm so special. Your potential client is like, I don't really care about this, because the reality is you are making yourself out to be the hero. So the whole point of the build your story brand basis is the fact that most realtors and most businesses do everything they can to make themselves look like the hero. Look at this house I just sold. Look at this thing we just put under contract. Look at how many houses we've sold this year. Look at how much money I made. Do you think at the end of the day anyone cares about that? Not at all. So let's think about this for a second. If we're not the hero, then who are we? So I'm going to pose a question to you. Who is the weakest person in any movie? I'll say the weakest person in any story is actually the enemy, because the reality is who loses at the end of every movie, right? It's the enemy every single time. But then the second weakest person then is who? It's the hero. Because you think about Harry didn't even know he was a wizard. He didn't even know he had magic. So what does Harry need to become the hero of the story?
Information.
Teacher.
He needs a guide. So as you start to think about this, you think about Lord of the Rings. Frodo is a tiny little hobbit. He's the hero of the story. He obviously has no powers, yet what does he have? Well, he's got Gandalf. He's got his wizard friend. We think about Star Wars. Who is the weak hero in Star Wars, right? It's Luke. But who's guiding Luke? It's Yoda or it's Obi-Wan. When you start thinking about this in the sense of branding, you have to start thinking, are you making yourself out to be the hero, or are you making yourself out to be the guide? Because every single person that we're trying to reach out to and get to reach out to us, whether it be an agent you're trying to attract, whether it be a client, a potential buyer, a potential seller, what are we trying to get them to do? We're trying to get them to reach out to us. So to get them to reach out to us, rather than being the hero, what do we need to do to make somebody actually take action to reach out to us?
We need to give them information and train them on how to buy a house, how to sell a house.
That's it. We need to be the guide. So rather than being on social media every day saying, look how good of a realtor I am, look at this house I sold, look at this house I painted, look at this house I listed, we've already established that no one cares about any of that. But if we can be their guide and we can be the answer to their questions, to their concerns, to help them through the process, see, now we give them a reason to reach out to us. So, Nick, you had mentioned something about when you had talked about the kind of marketing you do, you had talked about client success. What does something like that look like for you?
The amount of closing or seller credits they got and how many days it took, like more specifics about like the perks that my seller or my buyers were able to get, or how quickly my seller was able to sell their house. Like not just saying, hey, it's sold, or hey, congratulations, you know, like making it be like, wow, like this person isn't just buying and selling, like he's making it happen in a timely manner, going out for like helping advise their person through the process.
All right, so what's the hook on that? You brought out getting somebody enough closing costs that maybe didn't have it so that they were able to buy a house. What's your marketing hook? How are you the guide in a post that's gonna make someone reach out to you based on that specific scenario?
Still figuring that out.
All right, well, it could be a YouTube video as long form, it could be a short form reel. So what if it's a short form reel? Are you a buyer that wants to buy a house but doesn't have the money for your down payment or closing costs? I was just able to help a client close on a house with $0 down. If you want to learn how you can buy a house with $0 down, DM me the word down payment today, right? See, that's a hook. You didn't say, look at how special I was, I just sold this house. You went out and you addressed a need of somebody that you were trying to get to call you, and you said, hey, I've already fixed this for somebody, and you said, reach out to me and I'll help you fix the same problem, right? You've shown that you're a qualified guide, you've addressed their problem, and then you've talked to them about how they're gonna fix the problem. We're talking about essentially build your story brand. It's made me rebuild my entire marketing plan and everything that I'm doing. I actually hired a full-time media company after this, and so they're actually just taking over everything. So we'll be doing full content creation 7 days a week, long form, short form, all of the things. But before, it was just too convoluted for me. You know, VAs were posting our listings, VAs were posting our just solds, and it just started drowning out all of the other stuff that was probably really valuable. So I started a separate team Instagram account. I've just now said, hey, stop posting anything real estate sales related on my personal account, right? That's my personal business account. This is gonna become a brand. Who's your avatar? The first thing you have to figure out is, who is your avatar? Are you trying to reach a buyer? Are you trying to reach sellers? Are you trying to reach agents? Are you trying to reach both? See, at least for me on my personal Instagram, I couldn't care less if anybody ever calls me to buy or sell a house. That's just not what I'm looking to do on my brand, right? On the team page, if I can figure out this build your story brand on that at some point, not just be posting listings, that would be the thing that is like, okay, we want to get buyers, we want to get sellers. So the first thing you really have to figure out is, who is your avatar? And you can be very specific. You can see how I've built mine out. Everybody see this? Who am I trying to reach out to? Well, I'm trying to reach realtors. Who is my avatar? Well, personally, I don't really want to go after brand new agents because the turnover is so high. You put a lot of time in, and if they're out of state, I'm using social media and I'm picking some agent up in Wichita, Kansas, like the idea that they're going to go out and blow up is probably not huge, honestly, and it's mainly their fault, right? They don't reach out to me enough. They're not asking the right questions. They just kind of disappear in the thick of it. So who do I really want? Well, I want the trap top producer. I want those agents that are selling, but they feel like, man, I don't know how to build a team. I don't know how to get to the next level. I feel like I don't have enough systems in place and the support, and I'm running ragged, right? Or maybe they've started building a team, right? They're overloaded as a team lead, and now they're like, oh my God, how do I scale this? I'm still selling most of the houses. My team isn't selling anything. It's costing me a bunch of money to run this because they're not doing it right. And then the last bit, because I run the apartment company, right? And I buy apartment buildings and I raise capital. We've raised $7.5 million in the last 8 or 9 months. I want that realtor avatar, the investor avatar that says, hey, I'm making good money now. I just don't know what to do with it, right? And the good thing about my avatar, building it out, is that this first one can become the second one, and this second one can become the third one, or the first one can become the third one, right? If I can help a top producer analyze their business and get to a point where they're not stressed out, then they should start cash flowing and they should become my third avatar. So the reality is, here's everything. Here's their desires, their motivations, their pain points. I've broken all of that stuff down to figure out what are they doing on social media? What are they looking for? What's the guide that they're trying to find? What are their desires? What are their pain points? All of that stuff. I'm not going to read all of this because it would take all day, but hopefully you looked at some of these bullet points and you could see them and you can kind of see how it's breaking up for me, right? The flip side is now here's my content pillar. Here's my strategy. Content that builds trust, content that gets action, content that call to action strategy. And then here's some examples. Content that gets attention. And then I've got different hooks built in, right? What nobody tells you about building a real estate team. Hook them with hard truths. Burnout triggers. If you're still doing this at 11 p.m., you're not scaling. So different things. What is this realtor that I'm trying to get through? What are they going through? Same thing. This is more agent attraction based as far as my content plan for this, but I also have my media company on YouTube as well for living in Richmond, Virginia, which is buyer seller based. So just know, even though I'm talking about agents right now, this is both. You're trying to figure out who is your avatar, what are their pain points, what are they going through? Richmond content, local lifestyle visuals, systems and success, case studies, how this agent stopped selling and started scaling, vulnerable shares. What mistakes have I made? When did I start burning out? When did I say, man, there's no way I can keep doing this, right? The story, right? You're telling that story, you're putting it out there, but you're putting it out there as the guide to say, this is what I was dealing with. This is how I fixed it. Content that gets action. Make sure you're reaching out. DM me. Your team depends on you to survive, right? Want help mapping out your exit from the grind? Let's chat. Save this for when you finally have a minute to breathe, right? And then at the end, you've got call to actions as well. Mini idea banks. You're selling 40 homes a year and still feel broke. Here's why. Boom. YouTube content. I'll build that into a 10-minute to 15-minute video. We'll break it into short form content after that. It'll become YouTube shorts, TikToks, Instagram reels, and long form video. If you're the best agent on your team, that's the problem. Burnout isn't a badge of honor. It's a business model failure. Real estate gave you the money, but now you have no time. Let's fix that. So here's just mine. I made 6 figures and still felt stuck until this changed everything. Hiring more agents won't save you. A real system will, right? So all of these things are things that, heck, you may even be on this call and be like, yeah, I can see the value in that right here. Or this is, maybe you're sitting and looking at some of these things and being like, this is me right now, right? Well, that's why you're on this call, but it's also why we want to have so many other agents also come in and join, because we have, again, the plan. We want to build the plan. Mia, question.
I was going to say, I have a worksheet that I use because I actually help people with this. I love marketing more than anything. So if you want, I can put the, it's not a fillable PDF, but I can put it in the chat if you want, if anybody wants it.
Yeah.
And then I would recommend uploading that into AI and saying, help me create a marketing strategy based on this ideal client, doing exactly what Jared just did and breaking it all down, because the worksheet will walk through some questions to help you get to this point.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay.
I'm going to share another thing too. So you guys have the book link. I'm also sharing in this custom GPT so you can see how this works. Because now that we're kind of talking about, all right, who's your avatar? What are you marketing to? All of that stuff. This is what should pop up when you click into this, right? Your agent attraction wizard. Now, again, this is on attraction. It's not to say you can't use this same thing for building out an avatar for, sales and everything like that. So this is not an attraction call today. This is a branding call today. So it could be attraction. It could be buyer seller focused. It could be trying to find investors. I don't really care what it is, but this is going to help you at least build out the attraction side. And you could probably use it for the sales side if you just talk to it a little bit, but you're going to load into this. You're going to hit let's grow. And then it's going to give you the prompt automatically. We're about to build a high converting recruiting machine. Step 1, do you have any documents to upload, right? This will let you upload everything about your stuff. It's already built in so it knows what to look at. What are you giving your team? What are you offering? What does Omega offer, right? Any of that stuff is a value proposition that you wanted to use. You could use that. Step 2, what's your unique value proposition as a sponsor or team leader? If you're not sure yet, don't worry. We'll ask you 20 questions and we'll help uncover. Then it says, once we dial that in, we'll identify the agent personas that most attract to your value. Like I said, I've already done that. And you see what I've built out on the back end. It lets you pick the persona or avatar you want to target. And then from there, it's going to build all of your recruiting assets. It's going to build out your lead magnets. It'll build out your landing pages. It'll build out ads. It'll build out scripts. And then it'll optimize everything for search engines. So it's going to use keywords. It's going to use SEO stuff. It's going to use all of that. But if you use this link and you start filling it out, again, if you're shooting for agent attraction, this is a great model for that. If you are shooting for building it out, like Mia said, she's got her link as well. What we'll do is if you were to fill this out, keep in mind, guys, if you were to just take all of these questions questions and turn them into a PDF or just copy all of the stuff, you could literally take it and paste it into ChatGPT and just tell it, hey, I want you to use the Build Your Story Brand 2.0 content on build. I mean, it's gonna know. ChatGPT will be able to pull that enough data that it will know the gist, but you could essentially take Mia's PDF with those questions, put it into a Word document and either upload the document or just copy and paste it in and say, I wanna build an avatar for my client and a marketing plan on what I should be marketing, how I should be marketing. And if you plug it in, then it should hypothetically build out that avatar for you. Thank you so much for tuning in to one of our weekly training calls. Obviously, you caught the recorded session, but if you're interested in catching any of our live sessions that we do them typically on Mondays. I'm going to put the link below. So if you want to join any of our trainings live so you can participate, so you can comment, ask questions, feel free to come. This is for our EXP group that we have here, our Omega group of agents, but it's open to anybody that wants to join, really. So if you're looking for coaching, if you're looking for training, feel free to hit that link below, and we'll see you on one of our live calls.